In the argument given, the two selections in boldface play which of the following roles. So when you get these, you want to paraphrase as much as possible what they're doing as you go. So it involves an even more careful reading of the argument than you perhaps normally have. Teachers over age 35 are less motivated in their teaching and less likely to form strong bonds with their students than are younger teachers. Until recently, this phenomenon was understood as resulting from a reduced level of energy due to aging and the demands of raising a family. However, a study published last year, so we know that the boldface is part of this sentence. We know that it's evidence already because it says it's in a study published last year. So, showed that new teachers entering the field of education over age 35 tend to have comparable levels of motivation and bonding as do younger teachers. Okay, so first one is some kind of evidence. And it's actually also evidence that contradicts the traditional understanding that it's aging and the demands of a family. Okay, so then we have, since by the age of 35 most teachers have been teaching for 5 to 10 years already, these studies suggest that teachers over 35 aren't as good in this regard because several years of teaching have caused them to burn out. So the second boldface is giving an explanation for why generally most teachers over 35 are less motivated. It's not because they're older and because they're raising a family, it's because they've been teaching for 5 or 10 years already. So the second one is some kind of alternate explanation. So we want an answer choice that kind of explains or kind of captures it in this way. So A, the first is a claim. No, we can stop there. The first one's evidence. It's not there. B, the first is an objection. Nope. C, the first is evidence used to support an interpretation that is later challenged by the argument. That's true. C still goes on to say the second is that interpretation. No, the second boldface thing is not the interpretation that's challenged. It's a new interpretation, so it's not choice C. D, the first is evidence used to support an interpretation that later gets challenged in the argument. Actually, I think I let this one go in choice C. This isn't true. The evidence is not what gets challenged in the argument. It's actually supporting the alternate explanation. So it's not correct to say that it's used to support an alternate. It's not used to support an interpretation that later gets challenged. It's used to support the challenge. So it's not D. That leaves us with E, but let's read it anyway. The first provides evidence to support an interpretation endorsed by the argument. There we go. And the second is that interpretation. That matches up with our predictions about what this was, so choice E is the answer.